overwhelmingly, I want to thank you all for your comments, and I wore the white hat because overwhelmingly you all left a comment that I look better in white. So I did that for you today. All right, so I'm going to be posting pictures like on my Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Okay, but I will be posting a video that Gina Nemo and I took. We did a little skit, a little funny. You're gonna like it, and I'll be posting that on my short. Uh, my, Tomorrow I'll do that. Okay, you know, it's funny, folks, but see, I put Celine Dion in my title, and I changed that afterwards. And I want to tell you the story about that there. When I first moved from San Francisco back to Los Angeles after I divorced my second wife, I I was living upstairs of my limousine driver and bodyguard, Emilio Camara. Great guy, big, tough guy. All right, and he drove a limo. And the days when we had real limousines. And so he kept telling me that he wants to introduce me to another guy that he drove for named Peter Azer. So we set the meeting up, and it was on a Friday. Peter Azer was originally from Rochester, New York, so which is not far from Rome, New York, where I lived, was born. Okay, but it was a Friday. I went to meet Peter. I sat in a chair in the parlor. He was having a little meeting with a couple guys in his dining room. They left. He came out. He was in a hurry because he was going to Las Vegas. So we had a talk. He said, Emilio told me all about you. Okay, you're from Rome. And he said, but look, I got to run. He said, can you come back Monday so we could talk? I said, certainly. He says, how you fix for money? I said, I'm a little upside down. Goes in his pocket and he gives me. He says, 500 enough or you need more? I said, no, 500 would be enough. Get me through the weekend. And folks, I just met this guy for a few minutes. That's the kind of guy he was. Peter Azer. Monday, I go meet him. I'm sitting in his parlor again, and he's got a meeting in his dining room with about 3 guys. He's telling one guy, you go to check cashing place, you bring this check, you do this. You go to Security National Bank, see the teller, you do this, deposit this, all right? All right, and when they all left, he came out and he and I sitting down. And I looked at him, I says, you're cutting checks. And he goes, my God, how do you know? I said, I could tell. And I'm going to tell you, Peter was cutting checks like crazy. Oh, obviously, he also had a seafood business that he didn't do nothing with. I ran the seafood business. I built it up. I hired some of the most beautiful girls in Los Angeles, actors, actresses, and I had all the top restaurants in Los Angeles. It was really amazing. I did a great job. Peter cutting checks. And with Peter, there was never a problem with money. And then I needed my own apartment, and I found an apartment on the Wilshire corridor. Big, beautiful, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, dining room, living room, all the works. All right? Got the apartment. A couple of weeks later, Peter asked me, he says, hey, listen, he says, I got a friend that's got this friend coming in from Canada. she's a singer, and she needs a place to stay for a few days. Could she stay in your other bedroom? I said, no problem. So I met the girl. Very nice girl, Canadian girl. All right. And all I knew, her name was Celine. She wasn't big at the time. Okay, Celine. And she had a little Mercedes. I remember that. She had it one day because we had valet parking there. And eventually what happened to Peter eventually got busted, okay? It was like he had banks and check cashing accounts over $7 million. And Peter and I stayed in touch right up until he went to prison, and he did his time, got out. His wife had moved to Georgia, and he was living with her. And one of our last conversations, he said, remember that gal? You were staying in that second bedroom? I said, yeah. I said, that was a long time ago. He said, you know who that was, don't you? By this time, I even forgot her. I never paid no attention. I forgot all about it. He said, that was Celine Dion. Can you imagine Celine Dion? And you know, all she did was stay in my apartment. We did nothing else. We didn't even have dinner together. Okay, she was very busy. I didn't know. Okay. She blew up after that there. Okay, obviously. But I wonder if she remembers that there, you know? So I wanted to share that with you because I just heard a song of hers on the radio as I was driving home from my lunch today. And folks, look at, if you have not, please hit those buttons down there, okay? There's a lot of buttons, and some people it's confusing exactly what they are. You see a thumb up or a thumbs down? If you like what I say, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what I say, give me a thumbs down. You're not going to hurt my feelings, trust me, okay? And please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done it. And there's another button down there. It's called the thanks button. They got all sorts of kinds of buttons. And you could do these things, folks, if you pay attention to what you're looking at down there. So please help me out in any way you can. Now, we got a lot of friends here, all right, today. And I want to talk to you. I just mentioned Canada. Well, who's from Canada? All right. I've been talking about Justin Bieber. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, LinkedIn, and I'm believe it or not, on Twitter. There's my friend, the real Safa. Her name is Carrie. Thank you so much, Carrie, for your love there. All right, Carrie, hit that thanks button. She knows what she's doing. Now, folks, Carrie has an awesome YouTube channel, and Lindy will be posting her YouTube channel here. Okay, please go there and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I consider it a favor if you can do that. Thank you. Now, on Instagram, and I gotta tell you this story. I don't know, it was a couple months ago. And look, I get tons of messages from people, people who follow me and so forth. But this one, I pay particular attention to. Oh, I understand I can make that. Thank you, Agent George, for posting that there. Uh, great comment. Mimi wrote over there, and she doesn't know how to find those buttons. And I don't know how to explain it to you, Mimi. They're right there. Everybody's got them. So if you would subscribe to your own YouTube channel, all right, if you are logged in, you will see them. Okay? But, you know, I'm not a guy who's going to teach you technology. I'm the furthest you'll ever get from that. But folks, let's talk about Justin Bieber here for a moment. We all heard the stories, you know, we know that he got his start with Diddy. Diddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, Punk Diddy, Sean Combs. You know what? Somebody who's got so many different names, you should be aware of and stay away from anybody like that to begin with. This guy can't make up his name or what he wants to be known as. And now he's going to be known as a felon for the rest of his life. So join the club. I'm a felon. I've been one most of my life. No big deal. But I did the right thing, Diddy. I left you a message on my short. Your lawyers are hurting you more than helping you. You are in MDC, Brooklyn. I spent 30 months there. I know that place like the back of my hand. 30 months I spent. You only been there 12. Stop crying the blues. Okay? Your lawyers, they're hurting you by doing all these podcasts, going on TV, talking about how wrong the world is and you are right. These charges you got are serious charges. They are felony charges. Felony. They're not misdemeanors. So Diddy, listen up. Take some advice from this OG. Keep your mouth shut. Sit back. Get rid of those lawyers. You're going to get rid of them anyway after sentencing. You should do it now and save a few $1,000,000 because all they're doing is robbing you of your money. Okay? So wake up and smell the flowers. All right. So let's get back to Justin. A couple of months ago, I get this message, and this woman tells me that she's neighbors with Diddy's mother. And Diddy, it was a holiday, and Diddy was going to be going to Canada that weekend. And she told me that Diddy was in much fear and refuses to talk because he's in fear of Diddy. Well, yeah, I guess, you know, he was around Diddy for a long time, so he knows the bad things that Diddy can do. You know, now, she asked me if I would help. So I told her, I said, you gotta have Justin call me, all right? And I gave her my phone number, you know, in the private messages. I said, have Justin call me. I'd be happy to meet with him, and I could offer him protection that he'll never, ever be able to get. Okay? You see, folks, I was not an informant. Okay? I never read on anybody in my life, and I never will. All right? I could have put him under my umbrella. All right? And taken care of him. But You know, I never heard back again, which I figured. I don't know if the woman was real, not real. I can't say. But I wanted to share that story with you folks. Okay? Now, Justin Bieber's immediate family lives in a few different locations, including California and Canada. Justin's Bieber and his immediate family, his wife Haley, primarily live in their $25.8 million mansion in the Beverly Park community of Beverly Hills, California. And they have a vacation home down in La Quinta, which is down near Palm Springs and Palm Desert, down in the desert. Okay? His mother, Patty, all right, lives in Canada. His father lives in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, with his wife, Chelsea. Other family members, Justin's younger half-siblings, Jackson and Jasmine, live with their father, Jeremy, in Stanford. Haley Bieber's family, the Baldwins, live in various locations with her father, Stephen Baldwin, residing primarily in New York. Is Stephen Alec Baldwin's father? I don't know. Brother, is he? I don't know. Okay, I'm not sure about that there. You know, look at people are posting things, YouTubers, creators, all right, and they're making a shitload of money, okay? And some of them got such an intense hate for Diddy, you would think that they know him. When in fact, they don't know this guy at all. How can you have such intense hate? You could despise what he did. I do. I understand that. But why do people got such hatred? And you know what? It gets them a lot of subscribers. It gets them a lot of views. And people listen to their lies. All right? Thank you, Chrissy. I knew they were from the Baldwin families from Baldwin's, New York, which is near Syracuse. Thank you, Chrissy, for sharing that. Okay, appreciate it. Yes, there's still pictures being filmed here in Los Angeles. Not many, a lot of indies though. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit. Anybody got any questions or anybody really care about Justin Bieber? Okay. All right, he's not going to do nothing. He's not going to say nothing. And at the end of the day, no matter what Diddy might have done to him, Diddy did produce him. And he's giant, and he's living in a $25 million home. So think about yourself in that same situation. Are you going to go out and rat on the person that made you? Even though he might have done things that were wrong, but now you're older, you got past that there, okay? But Justin Bieber, you wouldn't know him if it were not for Diddy. So sometimes we gotta get things in proper balance here, folks, okay? Sometimes you gotta give, okay, in order to take. And that happens to be one of those situations, I guess. And as far as anybody coming out and talking about all the different stars, politicians, judges that were at Diddy's party, you're never ever going to see them, just like you're never ever going to see the ones in the Epstein. So let's let it go, okay? Everybody's getting blindfolded by all this stuff, all right? Elman Hernandez, thank you. Just sent me a floating heart. I never got one of those. That's the first one. Okay, see, now there's something. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I want to thank you for that. All right? Thank you, Alma. I appreciate it. And folks, you know, if you're new here and just came in, hit those buttons down there. Please subscribe. Hit the thanks. Do all those things, folks. Okay? I'm an 80-year-old man. All right? And I show you all my love and respect. Okay? I try to give you my knowledge and my wisdom. And whatever you could give me in return is appreciated. Okay? So, all right, I spoke about Justin Bieber. You know what my views are. And another thing happened to me, and I got to discuss this, folks. Because, you know, I don't like to talk anything about politics, because politics is the dirtiest place on earth. Okay? You know, I just watched an old interview. When Donald Trump was very young, what he did, when they were asking him to get into politics then, and he says, no, it's too dirty for me. All right? Well, he's correct. It's extremely dirty. It's the worst place. Now, I get this thing in my mailbox. Unconstitutional gerrymandering. Say no to partisan gerrymandering. Partisan. It's not red. It's not blue. It's both parties. Now, folks, we all live in America. Land of the free, home of the brave. We all citizens, we have a right to vote. Why is gerrymandering even necessary? I don't understand what it is, okay? I think it's so pathetic that they try to change district so one party can get more votes than the other. It's the most disgusting, dirty thing these politicians are doing. Lindy just said, the real Sassafras channel. Folks, subscribe to it, please. Okay, she's on YouTube. There's the link right there, as we promised. So, folks, do you think that's dirty? You know, I read about voting and what they did down in Alabama years ago, okay? All right, where they tried to stop the blacks from voting. What they did in that state is so deplorable, okay? Even when they started mail-in ballot, they were not allowed on the vote. Folks, we are all American citizens. Brown, black, white, green, I don't care what color, I don't care what your nationality is or your religion. You have a right to vote. Why do we people want to try to change how we vote? Personally, I vote by mail. I have been for years. It's convenient for me. And now Donald Trump wants to stop mail-in ballots because they think it's crooked. Folks, I'm just like you. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong because all they do are politicians, and I don't care what side you're on. Makes no difference. I'll talk to you. I got the same love and respect for all sides. But they're all lying to us every single day. And they're making multi-millions of dollars. They're not going to get rid of the swamp. Trump is not going to be the one to make world peace. All right? It's not up to him. It's not up to Putin. It's not up to Zelensky. It's not up to Netanyahu over there in Israel. You know whose decision that is? The people with the real serious money who control everything and who make money because they supply, they manufacture, they make the rifles, the tanks, and airplanes, and everything that all those nations need. Direct, because they supply both sides. Not one side, they supply to both sides. That's a lot of money. And unless they say no more, call it the end, that's when it'll end. And they're never going to say that, okay? Because that would put them out of business. But that's the wealthiest people. But you know, you listen to these politicians, okay? Everybody, isn't Lindy doing a wonderful job? I thank her so much, okay? All right? Anyway, so that's one reason politics is the most dirty. They make the mafia look like Boy Scouts. Yeah, they make the mafia look like Boy Scouts. You know, folks, you know that I have a CashApp, I have a Venmo, and I have a PayPal. My PayPal is very simple. It's the Accidental Gangster at Gmail. Okay? So anybody can't find the button, you have 3 other options to be able to show you love and respect. Thank you very much. Hey, folks, you know, today's only Tuesday. Why does it seem like Friday? Oh my God. So let me tell you about the lunch with Gina Nemo. Now, Gina Nemo began in the 80s. She was an actress in 21 Jump Street. And guess who was on this show? And that's how he became a big star, is Johnny Depp. Okay, so she's friends with Johnny Depp. She's friends with a lot of these people. Her father was a huge jazz musician. He was close friends with Sinatra, Milton Berle, the biggest of people back in the day. So she's got a great education, and she produces movies. She's an indie, I-N-D-I-E, we call it. It's an independent film producer, and she does, not big budget film. She does low budget film, and that's how things might be going soon, okay? Because here in Hollywood, things have changed so much because the politicians of this state have hurt and damaged it. I don't know if it could ever be repaired, honestly, okay? I really don't know if it could be repaired. And because, there's no such thing as going backwards. You gotta go forward. And, no matter what you do in life, you gotta go forward. Gotta try to do better. The guys who started Netflix, they used to have, blockbuster videos. You all remember videos? Remember you could rent a video and watch a movie? Remember those days? And then the video disappeared. Then the disc disappeared. They invented Netflix. streaming. And you can watch hundreds and hundreds of movies of any type you want. Just sitting down in your chair at home with your family and watch anything you want. You're going to see today that all those studios will be torn down. They'll become apartment buildings. I don't know who's going to rent them out. People are leaving California, but they're still building new apartment buildings. Do you hear that hammering? Well, that's an apartment building down the street there that they're refurbishing, okay? And there's, all the apartments are rented. Chrissy has a VCR and tapes. Well, I keep them because it'll be worth some money someday, Chrissy. Folks, you all know I hate to keep promoting and keep telling people, but if I don't open my mouth, you're not going to know. Okay? I'm the author of The Accidental Gangster. A lot of people tell me, oh, I'm going to buy your book. They don't buy it. You know how I know? I know when somebody buys a book. So if you're not going to buy it, don't tell me you are. Don't try to kiss my butt. Whether you buy it or not going to change my life. It might change your life if you read it. Do you learn how to overcome adversity? Yeah. Do you know how to overcome adversity? What the mind can conceive and believe you can achieve. You know how much adversities I've had in my lifetime? And how many times I've overcome it? And I'm overcoming it now at the age of 80 years old. And I keep driving and forcing myself every day. All right? I get up and I work every day. You think this is not work what I'm doing right now? Okay, this is work. I keep thinking, hey, wait. And I'm not thinking about making hundreds of dollars. I want to make thousands of dollars. Thousands and thousands a week, like I used to. I don't no more. But I wrote a book here. And when I wrote this book, I said, if I could help one young person stay out of a life of crime, it would be well worth it. I am proud and happy to say I have helped several young people stay out of a life of crime. My book, people who have read it, okay, have learned from the adversities and how I overcame adversity. I can't tell you how many times I became a great success and then lost it all in my life, only to have to build it back. And I constantly do that. And I will do it until the day I die. I'm not afraid of work. I'm not afraid of putting in long hours. I don't believe in 9 to 5, all right, and going to a job, work 9 to 5, okay? I don't believe in that. I believe that I set my own hours. I'll work 80 or 90 hours a week or longer. Yeah. So you can learn those things in my book. You know, I'm preparing. I don't know when I'm going to be doing it. Sometime in the next few days on one of my shows, I'm going to teach you all how you're being conned. Okay? and you're all being conned. How many of you folks, do me a favor, and I'd like to know, okay? So you read my profile, it says I'm in the motivational world, okay? Leave me a comment and tell me how many of you are paying for these so-called coaches, paying people like Grant Cardone, J.T. Fox, Tony Robbins, people like that. Are you paying for their courses? Are you blowing your money away, giving it to them? And they are all multimillionaires, all of them, names I just mentioned. They're all something else, and they're going to be talking how, why, when it began. So you're not going to want to miss that show. So folks, based upon that there and everything else, all right, I've done quite a bit today. I got a lot more that I have to do. So please, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and whatever else you want to do. All right, folks, have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll post. You all get your notification. You know, my son did an analysis, and we find out a lot of people don't have their notification button on, and then they want to say, "Oh, we didn't know you were here." Okay. So people on a concept of getting off their A. Yeah, you're right, Chrissy. People are lazy. You know what? You know how deplorable lazy they are? They could watch a show, either love it or hate it, and never hit a like or unlike button. Okay? That's how lazy they are. People want to sit here and try to lie to me. Don't try it, folks. Okay? I was born at night, but not last night. Okay? Mary wants to know when we meet your son. Folks, if you looked at what my son has done on my YouTube channel with all the thumbnail and the things, this kid's amazing. I swear to God. All right? My son amazes me. I mean, he's just, he's always been a smart kid. Always been smart. He's a tough kid, trust me. But he's always been smart. And I remember, when my ex-wife moved to Florida, all right? And my other son still lives in Florida, okay? My son, Ori, another great kid, very successful. He's one of the biggest pool contractors down in Florida, okay? And but they were just going to school then. And my oldest boy got in a fight one day, and boy, and his Anthony, my son here, showed up out of nowhere and just, he kicked butt, I gotta tell you. All right, but, he was a member of the Honor Society, and so my wife decided the best thing, we sent him back to New York to finish school, and he lived with my daughter, okay, and he finished school, and he was on one of the best soccer teams, college soccer teams there was, okay, at that time in Herkimer College, and he could have become pro, and then he broke his ankle, and that ended him going pro, and he ended up, he went to college in Florida for a little bit, and then he moved out here in 1999, and he's been here since 1999. God bless him, the kid's doing awesome, okay? So thank you, without these kids, all right? All right, put the super chat option up there. Lindy, can you do that? All right, the real, my friend Carrie just said to do that. I'm going to be meeting with Carrie and Noel next week, and we're going to do a little skit here, all right, and show you folks some things. But, Carrie, I got to ask you, I hope you don't mind if I call you Carrie on here, okay, the real sassafras. All right, and if you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do. Okay? I see people put that super chat thing up there. I don't know how to do it. So you're going to have to teach me, Carrie, unless Lindy, you can figure it out. Okay? That'd be appreciated. All right? Folks, I think I've taken up enough of your time. What am I going to do the rest of the day? Last night, let me tell you about a movie I watched last night. Okay? Thank you, Chris. Last night I watched a movie because two of my friends were at it. I was looking, it's called The Heavy. And Gary Stretch. You could look him up. Gary Stretch was a very good boxer. He was from London originally. And I don't know, he won like 29 out, 31 of his fights. Became an actor. He was in some movies that Oliver Stone did. There's Wyatt Earp, 10 o'clock. 10, thank you, Wyatt Earp. Made my day, buddy. God bless. Okay, so anyway, and the other actor in there was Vinnie Jones. I'm going to have to watch it again because I'm watching. Gary was a good actor. Gary and I were close friends at one time. All right? He's moved to Japan or China or something now. Okay? I don't know where he's living. But he was a good-looking guy, too, Gary Stretch. But I couldn't figure out what the plot was. Yeah, that ever happened to you? You watch a movie and they say, what was it about? And that's what happened to me, okay? And it's kind of crazy, but there's not a lot of good movies. They're not making movies like they did in the old days. All right, Carrie is saying, double tap if you are on your cell phone to hit the thumbs up to do a like. I tried that one time, Carrie, it didn't work. Okay? On another show, your show. I tried to double tap it, it didn't work. But I hit the like button. I hit the like and I subscribe to your channel. Okay? So I don't think that works for everybody. Alright? So anyway, that Gary Stretch, oh my God. Vinnie Jones. They both did great acting jobs. But at the end of it, I said, why am I watching this? We don't have movies like we had the old days. What's going on? You all ask me what's going on with my movie. And I'm going to tell you once again, I'm hoping, I'm praying, next month, that the announcement will be made with the people that are putting up the money. They say they got the money, and I'm not just talking about for one film. They're doing a slate of films, and my film is to be one of the first to be made. Okay? And they're going public on the New York Stock Exchange. This company is a big company. And they love the script, The Accidental Gangster. And I told you, everything here in Hollywood, anything, it begins with a written word. All right? or it took 5 years before we got the script done. I can't believe it took that long. But that's how long it takes great script writers to write a script, to get the characters right. There's so much that goes into it. You really think, oh, what could be into it? A script is only 90 to 120 pages, okay? Now, why is it only 90 to 120 pages? Every page of a script equals 1 minute of screen time. Remember that. Every minute counts for 1 minute of screen time. And that's why they try to keep them to 90 to 120 minutes. 120 is 2-hour film, okay? Agent Ori wants to be my personal driver. Oh boy, maybe the day will come that I'm gonna need one again, huh? Okay, you live out here, Agent Orange? Huh? Wow, it's so slow. Is YouTube slow? Are people getting burnout YouTube? I thought, I'm not getting the numbers that I used to get, and I'm hearing other YouTubers saying the same thing. So, what do you think is going on? Oh, my movie. All movies are slow, folks. It takes a studio an average of 12 years to do a movie. Yeah, 12 years. Very slow process. Because you gotta, like with my script, it's written by George Gallo, who's a very well-known scriptwriter. And everybody in town wants to read a script that George has written. But the worst thing you could do is shop that script all around town. You gotta be careful on how you shop it, all right? Now, George Gallo, just for you who don't know, he wrote Midnight Run. Remember that movie? It was made in the 80s with Robert De Niro and Chuck Roden. Very funny. Remember the scene about the airplane? That really happened to George in real life. Okay, that's where that scene came up on. And believe me, to this day, George Gallo will not fly. Will not get on an airplane. If he's filming in Mississippi or New York, takes a trailer, one of those mobile trailers. That's how he travels when he gotta go. Travels with his wife, she's a producer on his movie, and she's always got a little part. You'll always see her in it. He did Bad Boys. He did Middleman. 29th Street, remember 29th Street? Great movie, okay? Almost everybody in there is a friend of mine that was in that movie. So, those are some of the movies, and he wrote Accidental Gangster. And I gotta tell you, it's an amazing, amazing script, okay? I am not allowed to send it to anybody, okay? Anybody in the team, if they got somebody to send it to, they can't send it without the permission of everybody, beginning with George, okay? So it's a sort of thing that you keep under wrap for a while until that announcement comes out, all right? And once that announcement comes out, you could bet I'm going to be sharing it with you folks first. Oh, Liberty, your aunt was Alana King Silverstream, all right, back in the 70s. Alright? Wyatt Earp sent $10 gift membership. Thank you again, Wyatt Earp. You're so kind today. I appreciate that. Okay? Wyatt Earp, can you tell other people how to do those gifts? Okay? Uh, yeah, folks, the people that are putting the money up on my movie, they said they want to make a great film, which means $25 million budget. Now, we did turn down, all right, a studio uh, wanted to do a movie and all they wanted to pay was $5 million. We turned that down, okay? Uh, Wyatt, you're awesome. Wyatt Earp, great guy there. All right, I love you, Wyatt. I love you, Carrie. I love each and every one of you. Okay? So, folks, I'm going to relax a little bit because I've been going since 5 a.m. this morning. Lindy, I have explained how to super chat. There's a way that we could bring up a button, all right, that says super chat. Wyatt Earp does that from his computer. Thank you, Wyatt. That might be, there is a difference from being on a computer and being on a cell phone, okay? See, my son does all his work on the computer. He's got an Apple computer, he's got an Apple phone, okay? So I guess you could do more when you're on a computer. But you know, we're living in a world, most people are getting away from that too. And everything's on a cell phone. People are watching movies on a cell phone. Would you believe, folks? This is probably one of the longest live shows I've ever done. Chrissy, did they YouTube update it? No, that's a good thing, folks. They just did an update. Do we have to update, Chrissy? Do you know that? Everybody should, if YouTube has an update, then we gotta go in and update our phone to the latest YouTube thing. Okay, is that something that we need to be doing? Huh? I don't know. But you know what? Between now and tomorrow with Lindy, Carrie, and everybody else, we're going to figure it out. So, folks, I'm going to relax a little and come up with a show for you tomorrow. I'll see you all. All right? God bless you all. As usual, all my love and respect. Wyatt Earp, I wish I were you and I didn't have a cell phone. Okay? You know, folks, I said that the day will come that technology would be the destruction of the world. And that day will come. I don't think I'll be around. Maybe most of you won't be around. I don't want to be around for it. Okay? But I think technology, because with technology and with this AI, they're getting rid of human beings. There's not going to be a need for human beings. Now people don't talk to each other. Go out to your restaurants. Go out to your nightclubs. You don't see people talking to each other. What you're going to see is everybody looking at their phone. You see, because when they're looking at their phone, it gives them a feeling of importance. Think about that. I'll see you all tomorrow. All my love and respect to each and every one. God bless.